fiction, science fiction, horror, fantasy, crime, LGBT, thriller.
You have now entered the House of Mystery.
Welcome back into the House of Mystery. And I'm Al Warren, and we got Miss Jennifer Ann Gordon.
Oh my gosh. I thought you are such a jerk. So hi, Alan. Yes,
Yeah,
I am Jennifer Ann Gordon. That's just my normal name.
Yeah,
for loyal listeners. Alan sometimes introduces me as one of many names, and today we've been recording for a few hours now, and every time he introduces me, my name has been longer, different every time, and this time it was my actual name, so...
Yeah, I knew I'd catch you.
I know. I've never been stricken dumb like that.
Yeah. I do that to Dave. I do that to Dave, too, when we're doing the science fiction with Day, and then all of a sudden at the end I'll go, yeah, Dave Martini. And he's like, what?
He's like, I like, that's why there was an awkward pause there. I'm like, he's going to say something.
Yeah, I know. So you're waiting for
nope.
it. Nope.
He didn't say the word demon. He didn't say the word burlesque. He didn't say the phrase Anne of Green Gables.
Well, I have to be careful, you see, because even with Dave, because people will write in and they complain and they accuse me of being mean to the co-hosts. And they say, you're being mean. Don't stop being mean to that person. You always call them names and make fun of them. And I get these. And so...
that's so terrible.
I do. So then what I do is that I put in a normal one in the recording day.
Oh, yeah. I see.
Then you see nowadays, even though, more complaints. You're trying to be nice again.
Well, look here, everybody.
I tell people it's just in fun. We're just having a good time.
I wouldn't be here if, you weren't one of the best people I knew.
No, but we're
if you were actively making fun of me on the House of Mystery.
Could you imagine? I wait for
I don't think, why would anybody be a co-host? Like, why would a guest come on if I'm like, he can't even keep a co-host. He just makes fun of them.
Yeah, I'm terrible. I'm an awful person.
Yeah, you're awful. Such a mean person. So Jennifer Ann Gordon.
So now we get on to the guest that I can make fun of. No. So we got another guest who's written part of Hospital of Haunts. And
which is a bestseller on Amazon currently right now for horror anthologies.
Horror anthology. It's exciting. So we've got Marie Lanza. So welcome to the show, Marie.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being on. I can't believe she's still here. So...
I think that every episode.
Yeah, so me too.
They stayed.
Especially the ones that say, I listened to the show, and I'm like, oh my God, and you agreed to come on?
I know, I did listen to the show.
Did you? And then you thought, oh, should I? So I feel like House of Mystery is like the show that I'm very proud of everything I do, but House of Mystery, I feel like, because Alan keeps me in check, he's like the big boss, that it's a good show. But, I host other podcasts, my own, and I'm like, you listen to it and you're here?
Yeah. It's like, wow, this is great.
Great.
So that means we can just get wild here. No. So listen, Hospital of Haunts, what's your contribution to that? What's your story? Let's start with that.
So mine takes place in the sleep lab. And it is, sorry about my watch, 1864 Civil War era, about a soldier who is struggling after the war with his sleep. So he goes and takes a visit in the hospital.
And what happens to him?
Well, for anyone, so back then, we didn't really have sleep studies. So I definitely took some liberties with trying to understand our soldiers who struggled with post-traumatic stress, and because that wasn't even a term back then. And I think I used the term soldier's heart because that's what they used during those years. And then, so we have our young soldier and he goes into the hospital. He hasn't slept. He's not sleeping. And I try to focus on what happens to your mental health when you're not sleeping. and he starts to see things during his visit. While he's starting to experience things and see things in this haunted hospital, we've also got our doctor who is doing this sleep study that, is so, big for 1864 that he's forced to revisit what happened to him in the war. And it brings out a lot of, I guess you could say, his own admissions and inner demons while he's also dealing with being tormented in the hospital.
That takes a lot of research to do something like that. And also, how do you get into the mindset of that character?
I love that era. I think there's so much you can do to play with. And like I said, I did take some liberties, but luckily the research, at least for me, I felt like it was a little bit limited because sleep studies and post-traumatic stress wasn't even a phrase, I think, until World War II. But luckily they talk about, like, in research, a soldier's heart and how they now call that post-traumatic stress disorder. But definitely was something that I enjoyed writing about. I've written about that era before for other projects. I think you can do a lot with it. But yeah, it was a little difficult. Definitely the research was limited from what I found in terms of, like, how far back we go with those studies. So if you're reading it and you see that I took liberties places, yes, I did. I definitely did.
Well, we're fiction writers. We're allowed to do that.
That's what I say all the time. It's almost like you have to make a blurb these days in everything you do of I took liberty. Literally nothing we do is right. Nothing we do in our lives is real.
And especially I feel like with so Hospital of Haunts, obviously I feel like not everybody involved in this has some kind of medical degree or has worked in a hospital or
yeah.
But I feel like a lot of us have been in hospitals. We understand the vibe. We understand what works for us as authors.
Yeah.
So you've just got to go with that.
It's funny. I love calling my medical professional friends, though, in the world that we do. The last time I had to call someone, it was like, if I chopped off an arm, how long would they live? If I did this, what would that turn? And my doctor friends love my phone calls, I think.
I'm going to say they do.
They're like, no, you have a new one for me, Marie. And I'm like, yes, I do.
I always like to, so my day job is I'm a ballroom dance instructor. And for many years, I'm teaching people the waltz for the first time. And I'm like, what do you do for work? Blah, blah. There have been a few times people say something like, I'm a nurse in the state prison. And I'm like, oh, I have so many questions. And as I'm teaching them things like the foxtrot, where I'm like, slow, slow, quick, quick. What is the worst thing you've ever seen? And they're like, there's an amazing amount of things that people have told me while learning to ballroom dance that I just fully think are factual. Well, I'm like, nope, this is factual.
I did not know that's what you did for a living, Jennifer. I love ballroom dancing.
Well, then we should have a different conversation. Or keep this going, and poor Alan's like, are we talking about the foxtrot?
No, it's all right. I was a stripper, remember, so I know about dancing.
Even more fun. Even more.
Even more fun. I feel like there should be, more ballroom dancing and horror. More dancing and horror in general.
Yeah. But no, it's fun. It's fun to call our medical professional friends and then be able to elaborate on, on everything, what they just told you. But I think they get a kick out of it.
Do you have people in, I'm going to use these air quotes that you can't see, in your real life that say things like, why are you curious about that?
No, they all know what it's for. I think they get more of a kick out of that I actually call them. Specifically for questions like, if a zombie bit you in the arm, below the elbow, and I tied a tourniquet on it, how much time would I have for it the virus to hit, work through the bloodstream? I get down and dirty with them like that, and they're just really into my questions.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that. Do you have to just what you said just then with the elbow, the tourniquet.
Yeah.
When you're writing things like, I'm going to need a tourniquet below the elbow, do you have to kind of physically reenact things while you're writing, or do you have a good enough imagination that it can do that for you?
I do not reenact things, but I don't really reenact things, sorry. But I
don't
do.
believe her. Her basement's full of bodies.
I didn't mean that. I meant what arm position are you in? Gosh, Alan.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got to do it all the way, or what's the point of reenacting?
No, yeah, you always look at your arm. I'm always when I'm writing, I'm looking at my own body parts. Or the other day, my latest release deals with has kids, and I brought my own kid in the room, and I was like, can you explain this to me? I need to look at this swing and how it would. And my daughters are 9 and 6, and they're like, oh, Mom, what are you doing? They're over me already at 9 and 6.
Do they know that you write creepy stuff?
Absolutely. I don't hide anything from them, not even the picture.
So they're gonna rebel and be just the sweetest, most vanilla little cupcakes in the
Oh gosh, they like pink and purple. It's the worst. I always laugh.
If you are Marie's children, please stop listening now. That's the worst. I love it, Marie.
Yeah, my daughter is always like, Mom, can you wear something besides black?
No.
And I'm like, I wouldn't be your mother if I wore any other color.
They probably got pretty dolls and everything.
They do. They like glitter, Alan. They like glitter. It's adorable, but,
What color glitter? Sorry, I have the worst questions. Hi, welcome to House of Mystery. What color glitter do your children
Marie's
like?
got her daughter's dolls tied up in a chair right now. And she's cutting
Marie's
their arms off.
she's chopping the hands off Barbies as they're hung, and she's just how do I describe this in the right way? And her kids come in and they're just Mommy, can we have special, beautiful...
Yeah, can you come bedazzle this with me?
And you're with blood.
Yeah, with blood. Luckily, they do have a very dark sense of humor like I do. They do love the scary stuff. For Halloween, they're always something gory and scary, and they do like all the scary stuff. There's only been 1 or 2 things that actually caught them off guard, and they were like, ooh, Mom, I don't like that. And nothing that I've done. It's something they see on the TV or something like that. And we, luckily they're very honest about it. But no, they do like the scary stuff, but they're also total girly girls, which is hilarious for me. It's adorable.
Do you feel like the girly girl stuff, that is more terrifying? Because I am more terrified of that, and I am a perimenopausal woman.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's hard for me. One of my 9-year-old loves to go shopping, and before my daughter turned this age, I had not been to a shopping mall, a mall, in probably 15 years, and going into those stores now for little girls or teenage girls even, I'm horrified most of the time.
But, it's really great inspiration for
It really is.
Mall.
I've introduced them to Hot Topic though recently.
Which is the gap of weirdos, but still good. I'm bitter because in the 90s I applied for a job there as a manager and got turned down because I didn't have enough tattoos. And that was 1998, and I'm still bitter. So
shame on them.
Shame on them. I literally worked at a worse Gap right before Hot Topic, so they had every reason to be I don't think you fit in here.
Oh man.
I have 3 tattoos. They're not enough.
Not enough. Show that ink.
So I'm scared to ask what the names of your daughters are. Wednesday and Thursday, or
I think they have beautiful names. They're Lily and Harper.
Oh,
My God, those are beautiful names.
yeah,
Thank you.
That's just sick and wrong.
Alan.
Well,
I've got a lot of tradition in me. I'm not that much of a weirdo. I still like a lot of traditional stuff.
of course you do. Yeah. So this is interesting. So how long have you been writing? You've been writing like this for a while?
Yeah. I mean, I started with screenplays, which I still do. Like I thought, I'm going to go to film school. I'm going to be a screenwriter. And then I would say in 2009, a friend of mine was like, I think you should put your stuff in books, instead of, while we're doing our screenwriting thing, why don't we tell our stories in books? And it was a friend who pushed me to do novels. I started doing screen in around, 1999, 2000. I was writing like my first screenplays. And then 2009, about that time was when a friend of mine was like, let's tell your stories differently.
Wow. And so what do you think?
I love it. You're able to do so much more, I think. Although my novels are pretty fast paced. Like in general, the novels that are out there, my series that are out there have been described as fast paced compared to, a lot, the more traditional, very like longer, more in the weeds. I stick to a lot of the action. So I would say that piece comes out in my old, as a screenwriter. Screenwriting is very different in terms of, the way we write our books. But I definitely keep my novels in a more traditional, fast pace, if that makes sense.
And it's full on violence, gore, action, all that, or are you kind of in the middle?
Starts with the gore.
Yeah.
Yeah, the novels that are out, the novels right now, not my short stories. My novels out there are all like post-apocalypse, and definitely fast-paced action. Yeah, run for your life kind of deal.
So you're really down on the world, like it's going to end. Is this the reason you do post-apocalypse, or is there something else going on?
No.
Can you see the future, or are you using this to comfort yourself?
Do we have a date here that we can?
Do we have a date?
I know, right?
Do you have information
everyone...
that we do not have?
I know, right? We're having solar flares right now. I feel like, so the world could end with a solar storm, right?
We can only hope.
I don't know. We can
cross your fingers.
I love the world we live in, but am I prepared for it to end? Probably halfway there. I'm not fully prepared.
So
you're prepared emotionally.
She's got 1 year of food supply.
Yeah, but not like super prepared,
Alan,
in the basement. Yeah, all of that's good. It's like, I always tell people, I'm like, I'm 100% prepared for it to end right now, but I'm not like actually prepared with like my supplies. But I grew up in a house that was 1 year supplied.
Yeah, I have the generator going. I have the food supplies to last us for anywhere from 6 months to a year.
Oh, hey. And
am I a garden?
What rough part of the country do you live in? Like,
I live in Los Angeles.
So that's really far from me. Okay, never mind. I was like,
Jennifer, were you coming over?
I was like, I heard 1 year of food supplies, and I was like, if I could get there within a 6-hour drive, that becomes something. Nope, I'm on the East Coast. Well, have fun.
Yeah, okay.
Have fun in your last year.
Yeah, I live in LA, so if something happens,
you'll be like in the ocean, though, honey.
No, I'm away. I'm high enough. I'm in the hills, so I'm high enough. If the state like splits and goes into the ocean, I think I'll be safe.
Well,
but then oceanfront property for you.
Oh, I have oceanfront property
for like a hot minute.
Yeah,
like
for
sell immediately.
Yeah.
Wow. Rather depressing.
Well, this got weird.
Yeah. Well, so
yeah, we can really.
But when you're talking about this stuff, like all this afterworld stuff, do you write the stories from, like, is it the characters that create that story, or do you have the story and you create characters and put them into it?
A little bit of both. So my Fractured series and the release that I just did called The Colony are all based in California, literally based around my backyard. which I still laugh to this day that someone said I should do research when I write about Los Angeles. And I was like, you can put my books on a map, like literally follow the characters on a map. Although I changed locations and names because I don't want anyone to know my escape plan. But fun fact, there are an escape plan.
Of course, yeah.
You would just have to figure out where the books start. But I do tend to write the story first and build the characters around it.
Do you tend to have a bad character? Is there like a source or a person or a group that is responsible for the end of the world, or is this sort of more natural?
No, natural. Okay. As natural as zombies can be.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they can come from anything these days.
Yeah, mine are viral.
Okay.
I do love that. I mean, I say that because, like, I do have a book that wasn't zombies, but it was a viral, mushroom. Yeah, and it doesn't matter. But I do love a good viral, weird medical thing that I can sink my teeth into.
Well, you should have had someone make it, but, you got to have a bad guy.
Yeah, I do have some pretty nasty bad guys in these. I love badasses in the good guys as well. So I definitely have some favorites where I love the characters that just kick butt, right? No hold bar, they just walk around kicking butt. I love that.
So who do you take? Who's kind of the source for your bad people, your awful people?
Oh my goodness.
We want names and phone numbers.
Alan, I feel like this is such a
want names and
loaded
phone numbers?
question.
You knew it.
Well, I want to find out what's going on here.
What do you want to find out? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't so much take individuals. I do, though, take, personalities that I hate.
oh,
Does that make sense?
what is your
personalities that get on my nerves?
Do you have a least favorite personality trait that immediately will become a villain in your novel when you meet somebody like that?
Oh gosh, I hate talking about. My villains in all of my series are men. Sorry, Alan. No offense to men at all. Love men.
Go for it.
But just those.
Alan's that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, have at her.
No, I love men. My badasses in the good guys are all men. I feel like are my strongest characters. But in terms of those personalities that I love the individuals that were probably how do I put this? Of the small-minded little man syndrome. Does that make
I think
that little man
we're
syndrome
familiar.
that you just want to punch in the face?
Alan, are you familiar with that kind of person?
Yeah, I've got him online too.
Marie, it's time to have a conversation.
Yeah. What am I saying about myself?
Do you ever have is there a meaning behind all this death and destruction? Do you have a subtext? Are you hoping people pick up something from the colony, or your books?
I think the biggest thing is that it's always this reminder that I feel like we need to be prepared for the worst in this world. Not that I want the worst to happen. I'm very, I obviously, being a mother of 2 children, I want them to have the happiest planet on Earth. And I want them to have, obviously, the brightest futures there are, which is crazy because of the dark side that I also live in every day. But no, I think more for me, it's this reminder to constantly be prepared for anything.
Be ready for that horror writer.
Yeah, be ready for when horror becomes our reality.
Yeah. Wow.
This is I should have been paying more attention to when my parents talked, or in school.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I mean, I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it on an emotional, sad level, but I love it so much. I would read everything about that.
I know.
Yes, it comforts me to read about the end of the world.
Yeah, one of my sisters and I talk about it a lot because she is on the far other side of what me talking about this stuff. And she's always like, you know what, Marie, if that happens, just kill me now. I'm going to walk into, she's like, I don't even want to live a month in all of that chaos.
I mean, I feel like there's there's a good argument for both, where you're
Yeah.
do I want to live with that? Or do I
want to live like that?
I mean, we've all seen The Walking Dead.
Exactly.
You know, or, you know, things like that where you're like, I don't know if I have that in me. But at the same time, you see things like Fallout or Station 11 or even The Last of Us. And you see, like, what kind of weird beauty and amazing creations could come out of, like, the end of the world situation.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be above ground in Fallout.
No.
What would you want? To live naive underground or live above in, like, I don't know what they call them.
I know.
They're not Reaver territory, but in Reaver territory.
Yeah, you know, because we just finished, like, my partner and I just finished Fallout, the TV show, like, watching it, like, much later than everybody else because we waited. And, like, I don't know. I don't think I would have, in that universe, I wouldn't have wanted to be above ground. But then when I watch something like Station 11, and their, like, post-apocalyptic world is, like, traveling theater companies and people speaking poetry to each other, like, I kind of want to live in both of those worlds, underground in Fallout and above ground in Station 11.
I haven't seen Station 11.
It's beautiful. But, I mean, which is, like, I think there are so many amazing things to be, and so many amazing stories to be told in things that are quote-unquote post-apocalyptic, that there's a place for all of us, even if you're like, I kind of want to be in both, but in different universes.
We're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die. I will say the Station 11 TV show is very good, but I think it's different than the Station 11 book. I loved the TV show. Anywho, we're all gonna die. Alan said it.
Well, yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah. I don't watch that stuff. It's too scary for me.
I know. You write true crime.
What are you talking about? You write about real monsters. I was looking at your biography before this show, and I was like, okay.
Which biography?
I love true crime, by the way.
Yeah.
I love true crime by the book, so I definitely was checking all of you right. But you write about the worst monsters in real life.
I write about the real apocalypse. The human beings.
Which is even scarier. Yeah. I don't like reality.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's actually, they're the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Well, I mean, some of them have already murdered you by the time that's happened, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but listen, I'll tell you, nothing like going to a prison and meeting a murderer. I tell you, it's exciting.
Oh, wow. That's got to be intense.
No, it's like have some tea and relax. I mean.
Are you serious?
They're really nice people.
Well, because at the end of the day, I think, like, people are people.
Yeah, that's it.
And if you just meet them on that level, you know, it's kind of like there's this meme going around that's like how AI can never actually replace a writer because all writers have bad childhoods. But I'm like, I feel like, people do. So, like, having a conversation with, like, somebody that Alan writes about, I think we all have equal ground. Everybody's had a bad childhood.
Yeah. I actually, for the most part, they're really good. They're really normal, and it's not like what you see on TV. There are those, you know. Wow. They're people, and they're not. I think that's what you learn the most. You come out of it going, well, I could see that guy in the mall, and I wouldn't think twice, which is actually scarier.
I know. I was like, I wasn't scared before, Alan, but now I'm actually very, very scared.
Yeah. There you go. Now you're
in a good way.
Yeah. See, now you'll be looking at everybody in the mall when you go out shopping with your daughters.
At Hot Topic.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, we were driving down the street the other day, and it was one of those like white vans with no windows, and my daughter goes, "Oh gosh, Mom, look, a kidnapper van." And I go, "I am teaching you right. I am teaching you right."
Yeah. No, there's no hiding that. Yeah, then they're
But if that van said, "Do you want to pet a baby lamb?" Yeah. Like, I can guarantee you I would still walk to that van.
Yeah.
I'm a grown up that knows better, but I'm like, pet a baby lamb, walk into my own
I'm
death.
really extreme. I'm really extreme with how I go about teaching my daughters to stay away from people they don't know. I go to the darkest sides, like, they will cut your eyeballs out and you will never see me again kind of thing. We don't talk to strangers. I'm really
like
freaked
that.
out about the whole thing.
So what's next? Nursery
Nursery
rhymes?
Nursery
Yeah, what are you
rhymes.
going to be writing next?
Yeah, so
Nursery
Marie's
rhymes.
actually writing like a
I am.
PBS,
Yeah.
a PBS show.
Don't talk. I'm writing a "Don't Talk to Strangers" book for kids because they will cut your eyeballs out. No, that's not what I'm writing.
The eyeballs
no,
are like
just-
ice cream cones, though, so it's cute.
Yeah, right. No,
Yeah. Yeah. Children's books.
people are going to be listening, going, "That woman's children are going to have such problems."
They're
now.
like, we need to call
they're totally
the
normal.
authorities.
Yeah, they're going to be at the door.
If you ask my husband, we're not saving for college. We're saving for therapy.
Well,
But-
Look, that's
your
better.
husband's probably already tied up in the basement. And
I was like, yeah, husband, air quotes. Has anybody seen Marie's husband?
yeah,
Not
which
for
one?
a long
Not for
time.
years.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. His best friend is a forensic scientist, and he always tells her if anything goes wrong,
Yeah.
send her.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. Gosh,
No.
I hope everyone hears the sarcasm in my voice.
They
but-
don't.
No, they don't.
They don't hear it at all.
Call.
Somebody help us. Marie has us tied up in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you need help,
oh my
just
God.
blink your eyes twice.
Blink your eyes real
Yeah,
slow.
she cried twice.
Yeah, I know.
She's nuts.
She's crazy.
It's all fun. It's all
It's
fun.
all good. We're
It's all fun until
crazy.
unless you're the tied up person. Yeah.
She told us to say that.
Yeah. So listen, let's talk about where people can find you. Like what website,
Where the
social
FBI
media.
can find you.
Yeah, like you know, you have a
Yeah.
little prison booth or prison camp people can find you at. Like what's going on?
A cave,
Yeah,
Alan.
of course.
Duh.
Yeah, a cave, a dark, scary cave, out in the swamps. It's my dream home. MarieLanza.com. You can find everything there. All my social. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I have a new release besides Hospital of Haunts, which is just an incredible thing with what Heather Doherty did with Water Tower Hill Publishing. Like, I love this series that they're doing.
It is so great. And
Um,
I think you know that it became a #1 bestseller last night.
It did. I was so thrilled for this anthology series. It's such a good series. But I just released my latest novel, which was a short story series, a decade ago, and I decided to finally make it into a novel series called The Colony. So if you like fast-paced zombies, this one's got kids zombies in it. So, more on if you like all that stuff, you can find all of that on my
Well,
website.
there you go. Fantastic. We'll put all that up on the website and people can find you easily and, approach with caution is the best I can say.
And she's prepared
Not
for
friendly.
1 year.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. Be prepared for like a year. Yeah.
And you never know what's going to happen. Anyway. Well, we appreciate you being here, Marie
Thank you,
Lanza.
Marie.
Thank you.
This was fun. Thank you so much for having me and putting up with my nonsense.
This has been a production of the House of Mystery Radio Show. To find out more about our show, guests, or hosts, go to our website at houseofmysteryradio.com.